Greetings and salutations, folks. My name is Nick, and welcome back to Dragon Age Inquisition, episode 43, where we have finished the Deep Roads DLC, so now we are going to be moving on to the Frostback Basin DLC area, the second of the two DLCs that Dragon Age Inquisition had released, which brings us one step closer to finishing the game. After this, then we will finish the storyline, and then there's Trespasser. So we're getting close, which
Inquisitor
is a remarkable thing to say nearly 70 hours into any game. Like, if anything this game does poorly, it's the pacing. The pacing is just terrible. But before we'll discuss that in greater detail in like 20 episodes, I think. For now, let us go to the Frostback Basin and see what's going on over there. I think there's this area is called, like, the quest is like the jaws of something that starts with the letter H. Maybe Scout Harding will be able to clarify some of the things that are going on in this area. And we will have a chance to flirt with Scout Harding one last time, because this is the last major open world to explore. Unless...
Good to see you again, Inquisitor. Allow me to introduce Professor Bram Kenrick. He's the reason we're out
Unless
here.
Trespasser has another one. I have not played Trespasser at all.
Pleasure to meet you, Your Worship.
Professor Kenrick teaches at the University of Orlais.
I came on an exchange program from Starkhaven. While in Val Royeaux, I've found something incredible.
Is it your hat?
After 800 years,
Or
we may be able to determine
lack
the
of
final
fashion
resting place
sense?
of the last Inquisitor.
Sure, I studied Inquisitor Ameridin.
The texts say that Inquisitor Ameridin was a
Ameridin.
dragon hunter who vanished on his last expedition.
Yes, precisely. I see you've read Lautrec's Precursors to the Chantry. Inquisitor Ameridin stepped down shortly before the Nevarran Accord brought the Seekers of Truth into the Chantry. He hunted demons, dragons, and dangerous apostates in a time before Templars even existed.
I'm all for history if it means tracking down the equipment of a famous demon hunter.
If the last Inquisitor has been missing for 800 years, it's only fitting that today's Inquisition help find him.
Your scouts have gathered artifacts from the area. They may help us discover what Inquisitor Ameridin was doing.
I have news as well. We've encountered hostile Avar to the north. They call themselves the Jaws of Hakon.
There we go.
There's also an Avar hold to the east. Unlike the Jaws of Hakon, they've been friendly so far.
The Jaws of Hakon?
They're hostile Avar who attack any Inquisition agents or researchers who get close. We've sent soldiers for defense, but the Hakonites are cunning, merciless, and know the Basin better than we do. I'm afraid our men will not be able to hold out long.
I should go.
See you soon, Inquisitor.
Oh, no chances to flirt. I'm very disappointed. But also it's something worth noting that both the Deep Roads DLC and the Jaws of Hakon are designed to be played both before the campaign is over and after the campaign is over, which really emphasize, like, you can see how little the story in both DLC areas have to do with the main campaign. Alright, we've got 5 more Fade Rifts to close. Fantastic. There is never enough Fade Rifts.
Scout Harding has an impressive team. Her people brought back a number of artifacts.
If you need something tracked, Scout Harding is your woman.
If only it were that easy. After 800 years, we can't just look for tracks. Barring enchantment, cloth and leather will have long since rotted away. Only metal and stone remain recognizable. Complicating this are recent pieces the Avar left behind, and of course ancient pieces dating back to Tevinter. Fortunately, thanks to some period-specific buckling, I've been able to track our last Inquisitor.
Okay. What the hell is period-specific buckling?
You lost me at buckling.
You'd think that a buckle was a buckle.
Oh,
But
okay.
ever since people started belting on weapons, they've been adding bits. One piece here has a dragon engraving. With the alloys of the metals used, it's clearly Tevinter. While this one uses a clasp that wasn't invented until the dawn of the Orlesian Empire.
See, that buckle over there was the
Historical
style of the
research,
time.
You might say we have to buckle down.
Ah, very nice. I won't give you the belt for that one. Tell me what you found.
What do you have, Professor?
Everything so far points to the shore not far to the south. There was some sort of battle near the shoreline. They were in a hurry. The scouts reported an island near an Avar fishing camp, but the Avar won't say much about it.
What makes you think the last Inquisitor was fighting?
There's a clasp here common to armorlings. It's clearly torn. That only happens from a heavy shearing blow, like large claws or an axe. Then there's the dagger. Silverite, with a stylized dragon pommel and an inscription reading Cordilis. That dagger had to be a gift from Cordilis Dracon, first Emperor of Orlais. No one would just lose such a thing.
Sir, you should see the merchant at Skyhold. Like, the things that I've sold to that merchant. Oof. Like, once these items no longer are powerful enough to stay in my inventory, they go right to the merchant. Alright.
What can you tell me about the Avar fishing camp?
Not much.
I don't remember if I actually did this DLC before.
Jaws of Hakon barbarians. According to the scouts, they wouldn't say much about the area. Likely a local superstition.
I'll find a way to that island and see if there's anything useful there.
Excellent. I'll continue to study what's been found. With luck, we'll both find some answers. Also, one of my research assistants, Colette, was investigating an old structure to the north. I'm not certain it's related to our investigation, but it couldn't hurt to check with her.
Like, I'm fairly certain that I played through, the Deep Roads before. Professor Bram Kenrick, the requested supplies have been sent to your current location from the university, including additional ink, books on Ameridan, and 3 Divine Age buckles for purposes of comparison. And yes, upon your return you may say, I told you so, in regards to my saying your collection was useless. Everything should arrive shortly after you. Of course, roads still aren't what they were. Also, I fed that fish, but I am not talking to it for you. What a jerk. Won't even talk to the fish. Who are the fish going to have conversations with, if not for him? Huh. Interesting. This is actually the back of the camp.
The veil is wobbly here.
Who is my darling Lace? I hope this letter finds you healthy and happy. Last week I managed to barter for maps of Ferelden and Orlais from Hugin, the old soldier who rents the place on Mistress Johan's farm. You remember him, don't you? Quiet man, always smoking a pipe in his chair on the porch. He wasn't using the maps anymore, so I gave him some of my jam and patched his coat in exchange for them. Now, whenever you tell me of your travels, I'll be able to track where you've been. I'm astounded, my darling, when I look at the weave of dotted trails I've already marked out on my map. Oh, the places your feet have touched. How far you've gone, my little Lace. I'm so proud of you. When I was your age, I'd only ever gone as far as Lothering. My mother never left Redcliffe. She lived and died there. Now here you are, flying so far with so much purpose. My mind can barely comprehend it, but my heart swells. I shan't take up too much of your time. I know how busy you are. I'm looking at the frostbacks on the map as I write this, because I know you will likely be at your Skyhold. Please make sure to dress warmly. I've included the recipe for your favorite turnip goat stew. A taste of home to stave off the cold mountain airs. Kisses and hugs from me and your father.
Certainly not. It's much more squeaky.
What? Let me check. Sensing... Sensey... Definitely wobbly.
A note affixed to a book entitled Sir Lothair Verne Dure's Victory and Dominion. Lady Harding, I could use the opinion of an expert. Though impressive, the victory outlined on the marked page could not have been achieved as stated. Sure it could, if you had enough apples. I'm not sure what the context of that page is, or why it was so difficult for me to say the word apples. These are mysteries that will simply never be solved. Ever. Property of Colette. Pages of neatly written, painstakingly detailed notes fill a well-worn journal. The notes break midway through for a list. Wow. I feel like I expect sentences to end in specific places, but they don't. That's what's going on. Review Finding Emeridin. Complete. Review notes on appropriate excavation methods. Practice categorization. Learn to fence. Cannot find a willing instructor. Bring towels. Truly, that is the most important part of your journey, is to make sure that you have a towel. Okay, we're not going to read everything. I feel like that's one of the things that's made my journey through Dragon Age Inquisition just a tad longer, is the fact that I have read so much of it aloud. It's still going to be a long game. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, I'm almost at... Where am I? I'm at 69 hours. Almost at 70. Like, if I didn't read these things aloud... Like, it would still probably be a lengthy ordeal. I'd probably be at maybe, I don't know, 65 hours. Have I been reading these messages aloud for 4 hours straight? I don't actually know. But I'm aiming high. Attack that one. Ah, damn it. Wrong button. What level are you? Level 24. I feel like everything's going to be a lot easier when I continue the storyline, because people will probably be lower in level and resistances. Nope, wrong Wrath. I was expecting to attack the one directly in front of me, but for some reason my character targeted the one that was farther away. But that's the joy of a lot of targeting systems. Ooh, a different demon. A fear demon. I haven't seen any of you. Ooh, alright. You can hit that one. Actually, yeah, you can hit that one. Oh, Despair Demon. Gotta get rid of that one. And another Despair Demon. Ah. Oh my. That is a lot of stuff. It's masterwork metal. Do they figure since this is the last DLC, might as well give players the good stuff? Alright, I guess we're going to be heading north. There doesn't seem to be anything separating us from where we are in the camp. Like, it's hard to deter, like, with the hissing wastes, it was hard to determine landmarks because it was such a large area, and pop-up was so bad that, like, things that are really, really far away would not really show up until you were close enough for them to actually pop into the world. So you wouldn't really be able to see them at a distance, despite the large, wide, open area. Whereas now, we have this kind of larger open area, but there are so many hills, there's so many trees, that it's still relatively difficult to actually see distant things, because there's so many things.
Another guess, Sarah. Were you born in Denerim?
Oh, thank you,
What?
finally.
No. Is that what you're trying for?
That was the question that began this whole thing.
That was your question. I just hoped something on the map would rhyme with arse. Besides, I don't know or much care where I was born.
Arse.
Oh, for me.
Was that what we were doing the whole time? Now I feel kind of like Cassandra a bit.
There! It's the Lowlanders!
Kill the Inquisitor! Death to her holes for Hakon's glory!
Like, all of that, like, apparently there was a purpose to the guessing, but Sarah didn't care, and, oh, jeez. At least we have an ending that explained the beginning. Ah, this is the group that wear the armor that's painted on. Oh, we're still fighting. Probably should help out.
These jaws of Hakon demanded your death. What do they have against us?
Perhaps the friendlier Avar in the village Harding mentioned can shed some light.
All right, I will, however, first set up a camp here. So is the village through the cave or up the ramp? Let's climb the ramp first. We can always go through the cave later. Or we can see that the question mark is at a different elevation than us. Which it is. It's in the cave. Excellent. We managed to get low enough without having to bring out and do terrible things to our horse. Oh, hello. I claim this cavern for the Inquisition. Mouth of Echoes. The savages speak to their gods. In the cave passage, they call it the Mouth of Echoes. They light fires and feed them with green spruce and shout their questions into the deep. They say answers come to them on the last whispered echo. Superstition, we laughed. And now Razakal is silent and madness descends. I can only think, what if What if there are irregularities in the veil here? What if we could secure the Avar cave and bend it to our purposes? The slaves are gathering materials. We will build a shrine to the Dragon of Mystery, implant foci into the walls, cut sacred designs into the stone, to the better to hear her with. We will hear her voice again, or we will die. A memory saved. If this be our last together, let it end in laughter. I mean, you could end anything with laughter, but there will always be the interpretation of madness. At what cost? It still tastes strange, no matter. Have we traveled through lands more remote than these? We must have. Yet I've never felt so removed from life back home as I do now. T makes the same arguments as always, though adds a lack of demons as a point in her favor. Lack isn't absence, which I was quick to point out. She called me pithy. There are demons here, though not as many as we faced in those early years together. The Avar have their mages too. The last were ill prepared for me. I wonder if that's the part that bothers her. Oh, as always, was no help at all. We push on. My head aches. The others are singing the song we learned at the lakeside town. I forget the name of the place. I think my eyes are about to explode. Of course, A has noticed and tells the others he needs to read something. It's quiet now. The journey here took longer than expected. I must take stock of the rations after sleep. There were more than expected. Everything has been more than expected. A few moments later, and O would not be standing here. I was able to subdue the mage before things became worse. T said nothing about it afterwards. She knows O would have died. At what cost? T asked me that once. I said it costs nothing, but I don't know. I met a man who'd fought longer than I, but his mind had faded with age, and he could not answer. The point remains that I could do more. I can be more effective. We've all seen the demons, what they do, what we've seen. Some would do with blood. The better question is, who pays the cost if no one takes this chance? And no one said it has to be forever, just until things are settled. If you count 8 times, will the number change? O asks. She's been watching me these last few days, whatever she says to the contrary. Damn blue bottles. I did not plan this journey as well as I should. I lay trying to find constellations through the leaves. T brought me some water. She smiled, and there was no admonishment behind it. It made me feel somewhat better. As always, A cooked our dinner while deriding my own ability to produce something edible. O attempts to tell jokes. Make her they're pathetic. Why do they make me laugh anyway? Long days behind. I fear there are fewer ahead. Whatever costs I've paid, they will be worth it. It doesn't matter. This night, safe beside a fire, the 3 of them sing that stupid song, I am content. I feel like this is a journal written by the last Inquisitor, which is why everything is hidden by initials. Like, every other journal actually has people specify their names, but why does this person write in abbreviations? As if they're expecting somebody else to one day find that journal entry. Attack that one over there. Is that a poison spider? Are the poison spiders working with the Hackonites? I think so. But at the very least, I don't think it's going to take too much longer These birds are kind of everywhere. And they seem completely not disturbed by the fact that there is a big fight going on over here. Alright, let's head north. To this rift. Oh, what is this? Ah, it is elf fruit. We actually do need it. Unfortunately, 70 hours into the game and we're still picking elf fruit. That is one of probably the game's major flaws. Is that you have these basic items that are still important to the game, but they're not necessarily that much easier to collect. Like, you still have to go up to every single individual. Is somebody hitting Sarah? No. She just took a lot of damage for some reason. Alright, there's one there. And... can you get the one over here? Ah, he armored up too quickly. That's okay. The rift is now closed. I'm getting a lot of stuff, which is good, I suppose. You know, I picked the closest campsite as a place to go to. But I think this one that's to the north is going to be easier to access. And then maybe from there I could go farther south and east. But there's still a little bit of like that that feeling of traveling through the hissing wastes, where everything is just really far apart. But it almost feels like there's not enough stuff here to guarantee the size. Like, one of the criticisms that Outer Worlds had was that it had a lot of smaller areas. Like, it was advertised, like, from the creators of Fallout New Vegas. Ooh.
We should look around.
But it didn't have this kind of, like, huge world to explore. It had multiple worlds that you could go to. And Jacqueline, last time I wrote, I was whining about going to Frostback Basin. Yes, I admit to whining before we left. I even tried to convince Gerard to take my place. I suppose I was afraid and didn't want to say it. But now I will gladly say I was an idiot. The journey here has been incredible. I feel like I have a purpose. That sounds pretentious, doesn't it? But I'm finally doing something interesting and important. I've even made friends with some of the Inquisitor's soldiers. One of them has never been to Val Royeaux. Last year I would have laughed at that, but he is better traveled than I am. Why would I judge him? Even so, I promised to show him the city the next time he has leave from Skyhold. I may not have time to write again for a while. Everything is so busy here. Jace. I'm assuming that Jace just dropped that and is perfectly alive, that the blood stained on the floor was from a paper cut while writing said letter. Yeah, the Outer Worlds has a lot of planets to go to, and the planets have smaller areas to explore, but the areas are very dense. And I would rather have a smaller area that is very densely populated than a bigger area with nothing. Like, the best example of a bigger area with nothing is probably the game Mafia 2. Mafia 1 has its issues. Largely, if you've ever played the PlayStation 2 version of Mafia 1, that is one of the worst console ports ever made, largely because of loading times. The PC version features a relatively small open-world city. You drive around, you do missions, and it has also kind of like an outside the city area. So if you think about where loading times exist in the game, loading times exist when you load a cutscene, when you load the map, when you load the outer city. So let's say you have a mission that has to be done on the outside of the city. You'll first get the mission inside the city. So first it'll load the city. You'll drive to the mission. It'll load the cutscene. It'll load the city again. And then it'll load the outside area. So that's 4 separate loading times. Also something to note is your maximum speed while driving is 60 miles per hour. If you drive faster than that, the police will pull you over. You actually have to drive the speed limit while playing that game, or the police will pull you over. I think that's the only game I can think of where the speed limit is regulated by the cops. I think this camp is up top. In the console version, they took that same city and divided up into 3 sections. So that means once you get to there's a west part, a middle part, and an east part. Once you cross over from one section to another, there's a loading time. And the maximum legal speed while driving in the PS2 version is 40 miles per hour. Because I'm guessing they figured there were issues with pop-up, and if you traveled through the city too quickly, you would get a lot of pop-up coming in, or you would have loading issues, or you would just get to the loading area too fast. So, imagine that same mission. Oh, hold on.
Are we to know what that means?
That joke I was telling you where I couldn't remember the end bit. So the man says, 3 eggs, a canary, and a soggy biscuit. Not bad, right?
If somewhat blasphemous.
What was the
It's
beginning
funny.
of the joke? Damn it, Sarah! So now you're doing that same mission. You have to drive across town to get to the cutscene to get the mission. So that's 1, 2, 3 loading times, 4 loading times to go back to the map, 5 to get to the middle of the city, 6 to go on the east side of the city, 7 to go up north. It is functionally one of the worst ports. And you don't know, like, there are worse ports out of there. I mean, like, the Doom on the Atari Jaguar exists. Let's get rid of the Despair Demon first. Let's get rid of you second. That way I can safely disrupt the rift. Who's throwing that at me? Yeah, take that. All right. Cassandra, you can go there. You can get rid of that. Let's see if this is good enough to hit both of those. Yes, it is. Fantastic. But anyway, Mafia 2. Wow. That took me a second to remember what was my train of thought as to why the hell I was talking about Mafia 1 so much. Open worlds that have very little purpose. So, Mafia 2, I enjoyed it. I think it's a really good game. I enjoyed the storyline. It is a really good mobster, mafia story. Especially, and its ties to Mafia 1 are really good. The problem with it is, like, you've got this big open city. Oh, hello. But there's nothing to do in it. You're just using it to drive across from one section to the other. Like, it is just, LA Noire has a similar issue, where you're just kind of, like, driving across the city, trying to get to the objective. GTA 5 has that issue. With GTA 5, like, that issue is specifically created because of its desire for, like, a realistic depiction of a city. But this means you find yourself driving for quite a while if you want to drive from one side of the city to the other. But, like, if you look at another game like Kingdoms of Avalor, Kingdoms of Animar, Amular, son of a... Hold on. Kingdoms of Amalur, A-M-A-L-U-R, Reckoning. You know, if you're going to make a video game that takes place in a fantasy setting, please don't use your made-up fictional, like, fantasy names in the title. Like, learn from Lord of the Rings. Or the Hobbit. Oh, there's the Hobbit, you know. But the Hobbit is easy. But Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning is a relatively, like, smaller, like, deals with smaller regions, but each region is very dense. Ooh. There's always a lot of things to do in every small area. Maybe too many things to do, but that's a different problem. Where's this spellbinder? Might as well get rid of him first. And you can get the Mark of Death. Ah.
Hakonites seem little more than thugs.
Yeah, there's a lot of... This game has a lot of, like, specific repetitive enemy types, and it just kind of changes the skin of the enemy. Like these, Avar are basically the same as the Knights Templar, which are basically the same as the mercenaries and actual thugs. They have kind of a lot of the same enemy types. Mass Effect 3 does probably one of the best jobs of trying to keep enemy types varied by having, like, a very small amount. Like, there are, like, 3 separate groups you fight. And each group has its own specific assortment to fight against. But that also, like, so fighting any particular group doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have too much variety from one fight to the next. But by constantly switching up the groups, that creates the variety. So you're not always using the same tactics over and over again. How did that miss? That was a throwing attack. I wasn't... where are these going? I wasn't targeting him specifically, I suppose. Ooh, Cassandra, you can go there. Solus, you can... Nope, that's me. Yeah, I guess I'll just do a death blow for nothing. Where is... Okay, I guess Solus will do that one. Now, take that! Oh, there are multiple despair demons. Oh, good job, group. So many despair demons going on. Ah, damn it, he moved. You know, let's disrupt this, this rift. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Oh my son of a... There we go, finally. And I leveled up. Fantastic. Almost as good as my daggers. Alright, what do I actually want to put this point into? Oh yeah, here. Mark of Death lasts even longer, but can no longer be manually triggered early for bonus damage. Mark of Death now does less damage when it expires, but more if you detonate it early. How long does Mark of Death last? 8 seconds. I'm gonna go for the more damage. Also, Frostback Basin has a lot less frost than I was expecting. Like, I was expecting a place with the word frost in the name to have more snow. And honestly, it looks like just a more wooded Emerald Graves, a more wooded hinterlands. Which, like, I understand that, like, the game developers are going to be reusing assets. Of course, you want to reuse assets for DLC. You don't know how many people are actually going to buy said DLC. If you consider how many people have actually completed the Deep Roads DLC, for instance, only 3% of people have earned the achievement for completing the Deep Roads DLC. So when you consider how many people are actually going to get the thing... Are you enemies? Yes. Go after that one. Alright, let's... Oh, you blocked that? You can block my Mark of Death? Oh, but I accidentally killed him too quickly. Damn it, Trebek. I'm not entirely sure how blocking a Mark of Death works, but I guess it is possible for them to do it. I don't know how deep that water is, and my characters cannot swim. Oh, hello. Oh, and there's a rift. Alright, let's attack that one. A Gurgut. Who would have expected a Gurgut? Now I have the hardened... Oh, a bog fisher. Oh no, we've acquired the attention of the nearby rift, as well as the animals. Okay, we still have everybody's attention. Let's go after this greater shade. Nope. No. Get back here. Excellent. I did one of my... Okay, I really should probably look up this ability because I keep using it. Hidden Blades. Wow. I did Hidden Blades plus Mark of Death. And that was enough.
So where were you born, Cassandra?
Don't you want to guess?
Fine. On a pile of the softest gold, with big hat priests patting your butt, all singing and playing trumpets?
What does that even... I was born in a carriage halfway between Cumberland and Valchevin.
Hard one, you. Right on the floor.
So my brother claimed. Not quite the lap of luxury you were picturing, I assume.
All right, travel east. Always to the east. Bonus points if you get the reference. Oh, and there's the camp. Let us set up camp right next to these grow guts and this rift. Everything will be fine, I'm sure. Nobody will mind us parking ourselves right in the middle of their territory. Take a Mark of Death. Oh, did his armor up remove my Mark of Death? Possibly. Ah, damn you, Trebek. Okay, there we go. Fantastic. Interesting how these smaller Fade demons cannot be chain pulled by Cassandra. How about that one over there? All right, Mark of Death. One of you. There we go. Oh my gosh. Also, his shield does a great job of stopping my stabbing, which I disapprove of. Ah, damn it. Oh. And the Fade Rift is closed. Influence. For some reason, I kept calling it Inspiration the other day. I think I was calling it Inspiration the other day. It is Influence that you're gaining. Alright, this seems to be the direction I'm heading in. Might as well carry on in this direction. Find a way to get to the island. Let's see if someone here is willing to talk.
What is this? Are the fishes of Stone Bear Hole too rude to share a meal with friends?
In the jaws of...
The Inquisitor! Let her blood bathe the blades of the jaws of Hakon! Death!
Okay, let us...
To the Lowlanders! Glory to Hakon!
There we go. All too easy. Hey, fisherman.
You are the lowlander they call Inquisitor. I am Arvid Rolfson. Well fought. The fish will feed on fool's heart wine this night. I know not what brings you here, but we have no quarrel, you and I.
How long have you lived in the Basin?
Stonebear Hold's been here a few generations. I was born further north, but we left before I could remember. It was a good life, until the jaws of Hacken arrived. They brought trouble with them. People are expecting...
Did they also steal everybody's shirt?
You don't agree?
They seem bigger fools than that, for all their boasting. I cannot say what they plan, but it bodes ill.
I find myself in need of a boat. I need to reach that island.
The Lady's Rest.
What?
That island belongs to the Lady of the Skies. The spirits want us to leave it be.
Warn the spirits right back. We're Inquisition.
I don't wish to disturb your lady, but it's important.
If I give you the boat, and you anger the spirits and die, other lowlanders may come for blood. That is trouble for my hold, and not my trouble to take. Go to Stonebear Hold and speak with my Thane, Svara Sunhair. Get her blessing, and you may sail to Korth's rocky heart, if you wish.
Sir, why do you keep stepping forward and then stepping back? All right, let us... You know, let's go here real quick. Fight with the Inquisition forces. Get rid of that rift. And acquire the last camp in this area. I've got to say, though, I feel as though the Deep Roads quest was a bit more on the interesting side, despite the fact that it ended with ancient dwarves with machine guns. Which is kind of a ridiculous idea, but, you know, who am I to judge?
Inquisition soldiers. We should help them.
Oh my gosh. That was unexpected. All right, Lieutenant Farrow, what you got for me?
Farrow, sir. We've beaten back those Hackenite bastards. My men and I will hold here. The Hackenites along the river still pose a threat. After this last battle, we need time to fortify and regroup.
What's the situation along the river?
Between the Hackenites and the wildlife, this isn't the easiest place to maintain a presence. The river's the best way for the Inquisition to send supplies from Skyhold. Or it would be.
Although I'm also impressed that I didn't receive any fall damage from that, too.
And they attack anyone who gets within view.
That will be all, Lieutenant.
Sir?
Like, it didn't even recognize the fact that I was flung way up into the sky. Which I'm okay with. That would have sucked if I had to also deal with fall damage. Alright, let's head west first. Is that the remaining rift, or is that just light? Wait, which one was I attacking? Oh my gosh. No! Hit! All right. Yeah, and then let's do that. The hidden blades. Help finish it off. Good job, us. Oh, hello. Kind of like a little bit of a nook for this one. There we go. Finally did the combo that I wanted. Oh, hold on. Can you hit any of these? Oh, nope, let's, give it a second. Mark on you. I don't know if the mark worked because he keeps fading in and out of existence, which also ruins the targeting. But he's dead now, so considering what actually happened does not matter. All right. Let us head north, establish the last of the remaining camps. This area doesn't seem particularly complicated in storyline, quest, or direction. Like, it has a lot of complications in its geography, or at least the appearance of complications. But the actual, like, quest line and objectives and missions to do, there doesn't seem to be much to it. Is that a ocularium? I don't even have any more shards. I don't even need to collect more shards. All right, well, let's see how many shards there are in this area. Hey, Sigrid the Exile.
No, no, no. I cannot have guests, lowlanders, even those who don't hail from the hold.
Who are you, and why are you out here?
If I tell you, will you leave me be? I am Sigrid Gulsdotten, Augur's apprentice. I exiled myself from Stonebear Hold.
You exiled yourself?
Aye, I did. And my tongue will say no more on that.
Okay. All right, how many shards are in this area? I'm hoping there's just 4. I'm worried that there's more. That's 3. And 4. Ah, there's 12. Son of a... One way back there. Oh, there's one next to the camp at least. You know, I was doing so well I was maintaining today's video without having to do any cuts. And this area was being fairly kind about it. But of course, there must be more things to acquire, more little tasks to complete. What is the purpose of this place? What is the purpose of this place? Maybe a quest will send me back someday. Go after him. I did too much damage. My mark of death is wasted. Oh, hello. I didn't even see you in the group. Also, I think I was holding down the L trigger for no particularly good reason. I think this battle highlights one of the issues that this game has, is that, like, there's a lot of effects, there's a lot of stuff going on, but the battle itself is very easy. Now, if I was playing on a harder difficulty, obviously the battle itself would be much more difficult. And it would probably require me to go into... Son of a... To, the tactical mode more often instead of not at all. But, like, the normal difficulty never really requires me to go into tactical mode. I only go to tactical mode because it's convenient for very specific moments. But, like, the desire for this game to have a more action feel to it. Rather than the first game where you just kind of select attack and then your character automatically attacks, does get in the way of actually of a tactical approach. And I would say sometimes Final Fantasy VII Remake has that issue, but like I feel like Final Fantasy VII Remake does more towards requiring you to use... Huh. Hold on. I thought that, for some reason I thought that landmark was down on the floor, but I'm wrong. But Final Fantasy VII Remake does a better job of requiring you to use other characters' abilities, but it still has a similar issue where you're you have a stronger benefit of attacking with one specific character at a time. I claim this landmark for the Inquisition! Arboreal Fort. Sheer cliffs and steep drops present obstacles to speedy... Oh my gosh, why did Cullen and Liliana have such a discussion about this? present obstacles to speedy travel with the Basin. As a temporary measure, rope ladders are being constructed and placed at strategic points chosen by Scout Harding. Continued presence in this area will require a permanent solution. Please advise. Charter. A series of comments follow. Flatten the area? Cullen. Of course the commander suggests hitting the hills until they forget their hills, Liliana. We could look into getting the soldiers to cut steps into the cliffs or construct structures with some sort of verticality. Scaffolding, perhaps? Josephine. I was joking. Meanwhile, have you threatened to cut out anyone's tongue today? Cullen. Thinking about it right now, Liliana. The roofer, Barinol, was talking to the foreman about drawing up plans for additions to Skyhold, covered platforms connected with spiral staircases and suspended catwalks. We could apply this idea to the Frostback Basin. Josephine. I was there. Wasn't Barinol drunk? Cullen. He didn't draw up the plans while drunk. I'm sure we could have an engineer or Dagna look over them to see if they're structurally sound. Josephine. An engineer, yes. Dagna, no. We don't need our outpost to be half in, half out of the fade. Or be able to sing the Chant of Light or whatever it is she's working on right now, Liliana. Alright. Oh, there's a Hacknite camp. Horse, you're needed. It's still a little ridiculous that does you... Oh, who's attacking us? Oh, hello. I think this is one of the camps. Excellent. There we go. A poison spider was following us all this time. Oh my gosh. There we go. Oh, well, oh, hello, more poison spiders. Wow. A little bit of a waste, but you know. A lot of filler enemies in between areas, but then... Yeah, this game has a lot of that. For all of its zones. Also, I don't actually have to collect a single additional shard. Because I can open the last door in the Desert Oasis, I just haven't done that yet. You, sir, are done. Ah, that was too much damage. Sometimes I don't know my own strength.
We've done what we can here. Inquisition presence should help keep the area safe. Safer than it was, at least.
Alright, let us return to Lieutenant Pharaoh. Is that a shard over here? Yep, hold on. More elf fruit, of course. Because I did use a lot of the regeneration potion while in the deep roads. Though this area is a lot easier than the deep road section. Lieutenant Pharaoh.
Inquisitor.
The Hackonites were pushed back from the river.
That will put minds at ease, sir. I'll arrange patrols for the area. It's no Imperial highway, but we'll see people along as safely as we can.
That will be all, Lieutenant.
Sir?
All right. All right, let's grab these shards. It looks like there is not just the shard here, but there's also an astrarium. All right, let us access the astrarium. I'm hoping this only looks complicated. Nah, I think I screwed that up. This is going to be a pain. Is this an extra star? Ah, damn it. Why is this so complicated? I think it was easier the first path around. I wish there was a backup button, not a restart button, but just a backup button. Like I didn't have to do a clean slate every single time. Nah, I think I screwed up the line. We need to start from maybe here, go down to here, go. Then that's where we want to go. I don't think this is a winning strategy that I'm trying to come up with. No, that one doesn't connect to anything. Okay, let's try starting with this area again. All right. I don't know if this is going to work. It probably will not. And then I'll have to start over again. And it worked! Fantastic! Constellation Fulminos, commonly known as the Thunderbolt. The constellation Fulminos depicts a bolt of lightning thrown by a wrathful god. Which god has always been a matter of dispute. Each of the old gods of Tevinter has been credited as the thrower, with the target being anything from the lost city of Barandor to a jester who made a particularly heinous pun. All right. Let's go after this shard. All right, here is the 4th shard for this area. And on this note, let's actually go to the desert oasis and unlock the last door. The Forbidden Oasis. Alright, the remaining fire door awaits. We have the shards.
There's one door left in the main room.
Okay, enemies here are only level 15, so... this should be pretty easy. And I don't think any of these are actually going to be useful, because it took me so long to get to it. Is that it? That's it. We have done all of the shard doors. Do I not feel like I have accomplished something? Oh God. Got any suggestions for something to play next? Leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and have yourselves a good night.